To correctly enroll the fingerprint, slide the finger across the ridge lock without the finger touching the sensor. Position the finger where the first joint of the finger meets the ridge lock. Lower the finger onto the sensor and apply moderate pressure to increase the surface area of the fingerprint. Keep the finger on the sensor until the LED turns green and the display indicates they have successfully enrolled. You may then remove the finger. Use the index, middle, or ring fingers. Avoid using the thumb and pinky fingers since they are typically awkward to consistently position on the sensor. Completely covering the surface area of the sensor with the fingerprint will provide the best performance. Using the correct techniques will provide you and your staff with a repeatable and consistent routine. Touching the sensor as if pressing a button creates an image that lacks information-rich fingerprint data. Applying excessive pressure to the sensor will create an image that lacks definition and may damage the sensor over time. Placing your finger far from the center of the sensor will increase the rejection rate. Finger rotation should be kept to a minimum during enrollment and verification. Apply only moderate pressure when making contact with the sensor. Too much pressure may cause smudging of the fingerprint. Too little pressure may not allow the sensor to recognize the presence of a finger. The ideal amount of pressure would be similar to a firm grip used to hold a pen. If the finger is moist during the time of enrollment, your results may not be satisfactory. Wipe the finger with a cloth or paper towel to remove excess moisture and reattempt the enrollment. If the finger is very dry, as with an individual that has been wearing talcum powder covered gloves, the sensor may not be able to get a good image of the fingerprint. Reattempt the enrollment. Use a small amount of lotion or moisturizer, or try enrolling a different finger. If the finger is exceptionally cold, there may not be enough of an infrared signature on the finger for the sensor to detect that the finger has been applied. Perform a few hand warming exercises, such as closing and opening the fist 10 to 15 times to increase circulation. If this does not help, you may want to let the employee's hands warm up for a few minutes and then reattempt the enrollment. In the end, you want to wind up with a good enrollment. The core is properly centered, image area is fully covered, and ridge pattern is well defined. This will allow employees to effortlessly use the fingerprint sensor. A fingerprint core is an area located within the innermost recurving ridge. Normally, it is located in the middle of the fingerprint. The green dot represents the center of the core. An attempt should be made to ensure that the core is positioned in the center of the fingerprint sensor. However, some employees do not contain a sufficient definition of features in their fingerprint cores. These individuals may need several attempts to enroll. If after using the proper technique and making several attempts with no success, you may assign a personal identification number for some of your employees to use instead of their fingerprint for verification. This should never exceed 2% of your employees.